All right, so get this. We're diving into AI that can teach itself. It's like straight out of sci-fi, right?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
But it's actually happening. And we're going to break it all down looking at this YouTube video about Meta's self-taught evaluator. And this thing, honestly, it could totally revolutionize how fast AI develops. So have you ever felt like you're just drowning in information, like it's just too much?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, turns out training AI, especially these super complex models, it's kind of like that for them too. It's a huge process, tons of resources, takes forever. And that's exactly the problem Meta's trying to solve with this self-taught AI thing. See, traditionally, AI training uses something called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF.
RLHF.
It's basically like the AI is constantly doing homework and waiting for a teacher, a human teacher, to grade it. So as you can imagine, as the AI gets smarter, that back and forth, it really slows things down.
It's like a bottleneck.
Ex-
And what's so cool about Meta's self-taught evaluator is that it completely changes that. Instead of needing humans, it creates its own practice problems, tests itself, and then learns from the results. It's like having a student who can study and improve all on their own.
That's so interesting. But, okay, how does the AI know if it's right or wrong, like without a human to tell it?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
It's not like it just magically has all the answers, right?
Right, it's not magic. So there are these two key concepts that make it work. First, there's chain of thought reasoning.
Okay, so what is that?
Basically, the AI breaks a problem down into smaller steps, kind of like how we solve problems logically, step by step.
I see. So it's thinking things through.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the LLM as a judge part. This is where a really smart language model basically acts like a referee. It looks at the AI's solutions and evaluates them based on logic and accuracy.
So it's like it's created its own internal grading system.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Instead of waiting for a human to check its work, it's double checking itself. That's pretty clever. But I mean, does it actually lead to better results?
Well, the results from the reward benchmark were really something. Just by switching to self-learning, the AI's accuracy jumped by 13%.
Wow, 13%. Whoa.
Yeah, it's a huge leap forward. It kind of shocked a lot of experts in the field.
Yeah, I can see why. So the video wasn't kidding when it called this an AI revolution, huh?
No, I don't think so.
But all this sounds amazing in theory, but are there any real-world examples of this technology being used? Like, is it actually out there doing stuff?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's not just theoretical anymore. There's the segment anything model, or SAM 2.1.
Okay, and what's that doing?
So it's actually being used in some really important fields already, like medical imaging and meteorology, places where accuracy is super important.
Wow, so it's like helping doctors make diagnoses.
Potentially, yeah. And with the self-learning, it's becoming even more precise.
So maybe weather forecasts that are even more reliable.
Exactly.
And it could impact just about everyone, really.
Yeah, the potential is huge.
And it just keeps getting more interesting.
Right. This self-learning ability, it could make AI way more relevant on a global scale.
How so?
Well, think about it. When you have humans giving feedback, there's always a chance for bias, you know?
Oh, like cultural biases?
Yeah, exactly. What might be a right answer in one culture could be totally wrong in another.
Right, right. That makes sense. But so how does self-learning fix that?
Because it takes the human element out of the evaluation.
Yeah.
So the AI can actually keep the same standards across different languages and cultures.
So it's not swayed by opinions or anything like that?
Nope, the results are more objective and can be used globally.
That's pretty important when you think about how AI is being developed all over the world. And it sounds like this self-taught evaluator, it's a big part of Meta's plan for advanced machine intelligence, or AMI, right? I have to admit that sounds a bit intimidating. What exactly does AMI mean? Like, what happens when AI gets that smart?
Well, AMI basically means AI that's reached or even surpassed human intelligence. It's been a goal in AI for a long time. And it brings up some really big questions about the future of, well, everything.
The future of humanity.
Exactly.
That's definitely a whole other deep dive we could do. But before we go down that rabbit hole, let's talk about the practical stuff. How is Meta making this technology available to others?
Well, one of the biggest things they've done is made the segment anything model open source.
Open source.
Yeah, which means developers all over the world can access it, play around with it, use it to make new things.
Wow, so they're not keeping it all to themselves.
Nope, they're encouraging people to build on it.
That's pretty cool.
And they're doing some really interesting things with their METPLM too. It's another open source language model that combines text and speech seamlessly.
Okay, so what does that mean practically?
It means AI can generate speech that sounds more natural, more human. It can even express emotions like excitement or surprise.
AI with emotions, that's kind of freaky, but also really cool.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Just imagine virtual assistants that actually sound human, or audiobooks that are more engaging, or even customer service that's actually empathetic.
It could change how we interact with machines entirely.
Yeah, for sure.
All of this definitely raises some big questions about the future of AI, especially when it comes to ethics and control and all that, but maybe we should save those for later. For now, I'm really curious to hear more about how self-taught AI is already making a difference in the real world.
Oh, yeah. There are some incredible examples out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like one that comes to mind is in medical diagnosis. Researchers are using it to analyze medical images like x-rays and scans, and it's showing some amazing potential for catching things that even human doctors might miss.
That's incredible. It sounds like this could really revolutionize healthcare, potentially faster and more accurate diagnoses. Are there other fields where it's making a big impact like that?
Oh, absolutely. In finance, for example, they're using it to build financial models that are way more sophisticated and responsive.
So they can analyze tons of data, spot trends, and make predictions.
Exactly, and way faster and more accurately than we could before.
It sounds like we're on the verge of a huge shift in how these industries work, and it's all thanks to this self-taught AI. But with all this talk about AI becoming more intelligent and independent, I have to ask, what about the potential downsides? Like, what about jobs? Are people going to be out of work because of this?
That's a valid concern for sure, and it's definitely something we need to be thinking about as AI keeps developing. But, throughout history, every time we've had a big technological advancement, it's changed the job market. Some jobs disappear, but new ones are created.
So instead of being afraid of losing our jobs, we should be adapting and learning new skills.
Exactly. The key is to be proactive.
Hmm.
Embrace the new opportunities that AI creates.
Hmm.
Like, there's going to be a huge need for people who understand AI and can work with it. People who can bridge the gap between human expertise and AI.
That makes sense. But what about the whole, AI becoming uncontrollable or even dangerous? I know it sounds like something out of a movie, but it's a question a lot of people have.
I get it. The whole Terminator scenario, it's been a popular theme in sci-fi for decades, but it's really important to separate those fictional scenarios from what's actually happening with AI today.
So you're saying we don't need to worry about robots taking over the world just yet?
Not just yet, no. The AI we have now, it's nowhere near being conscious or making its own decisions. It's powerful, sure, but it's still just a tool. And humans are the ones controlling it.
Okay, that's good to hear. But even if we're not talking about rogue AI, there's still ethical things to think about, right? Like, how do we make sure AI is used responsibly and for the benefit of everyone?
Absolutely. Ethics is huge in AI development.
Hmm.
And it needs to be built into these systems from the very beginning. We have to address things like bias, transparency, and accountability.
Can you talk a little more about that? What can we actually do to make sure AI is developed and used ethically?
One really crucial thing is making sure AI systems are trained on data that's diverse and representative. That helps to prevent bias from creeping into the algorithms. Because if an AI is only trained on data from one specific group, it's not going to be able to understand or assess other groups fairly.
Right, that makes sense. So diversity in the data is key.
Yeah, and transparency is also super important. AI systems should be designed so that we can understand how they're making decisions. That helps build trust and make sure people are accountable for what the AI is doing.
I see. So if we can understand the AI's reasoning, we're more likely to trust it.
Exactly.
But how do you actually make such complex systems transparent?
It takes developing new techniques so we can trace how the AI makes decisions, to see what factors it's considering and how it comes to its conclusions. There's a whole area of research called explainable AI.
So it's not just about making AI powerful, but also making it understandable.
Exactly.
And it sounds like that's a big part of Meta's approach with their self-taught AI. What else are they doing to address those ethical concerns?
Well, one of the best things they're doing is actively talking to the AI community and the public about these issues. They're having open discussions, sharing their research, and asking for feedback.
That's great. Being transparent and collaborative, that's so important for building trust.
Absolutely. And they're also putting a lot of resources into researching AI safety and robustness, making sure AI systems behave the way they're supposed to, even in unexpected situations, and making sure they're resistant to things like hacking or manipulation.
Yeah, AI safety is huge, especially as it becomes more and more a part of our lives. But let's go back to this idea of advanced machine intelligence, or AMI, for a minute. You said earlier it raises some really big questions about the future. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Sure. So AMI is basically the point where AI surpasses human intelligence in pretty much every way. It's a concept that gets people both excited and anxious
Yeah.
because it challenges our whole understanding of what it means to be intelligent and what our place in the world will be when we're not the smartest ones around anymore.
I can see why that would be both fascinating and a little scary.
Exactly. It's like stepping into uncharted territory. There's potential for amazing advancements, but also unforeseen consequences.
So it's not just about the technical stuff, but also about the bigger societal and ethical impacts.
Yeah.
We have to think about how AMI might change our lives, our relationships, how we see ourselves, even our place in the universe.
Exactly.
Wow, I'm starting to really grasp how big this is. Self-taught AI isn't just a cool new technology. It's actually forcing us to have a much bigger conversation about the future of intelligence itself, about the role of technology in our lives, and even what it means to be human in a world with such smart
You
machines.
got it. And it's a conversation everyone needs to be a part of, not just scientists and tech people, but everyone. We need to be having these discussions in our homes, schools, workplaces, everywhere.
So where do we go from here? What can we as individuals do to make sure AI is developed and used in a way that benefits everyone?
Well, one thing we can do is support organizations that are working to promote responsible AI development. There are groups out there fighting for things like transparency, accountability, and fairness in AI systems.
Right, like making sure those algorithms are auditable and explainable so we can understand how they're making decisions,
Yeah.
and pushing for regulations that prevent AI from being used in discriminatory or harmful ways.
Exactly. We also need to educate ourselves and others about the potential impacts of AI, both positive and negative. The more people understand this technology, the better equipped we'll be to shape its development and ensure that it's used for good.
And it's important to remember that we're not just talking about some distant future here. AI is already having a profound impact on our lives, from the way we work to the way we interact with each other.
Yeah, it's in our smartphones, our social media feeds, our healthcare systems. It's everywhere. And as AI continues to evolve, that impact is only going to grow.
So it's not about waiting for some hypothetical future where AI becomes super intelligent. It's about engaging with this technology now, asking the tough questions, and making our voices heard.
Absolutely. And it's about recognizing that we all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI. Whether you're a tech expert or just an average person, your thoughts, your concerns, and your actions matter.
That's actually pretty empowering to think that we're not just passive bystanders in this whole technological revolution. We actually have the power to shape the future of AI and make sure it aligns with our values.
You got it. The future of AI isn't predetermined. It's a future that we're all creating together. With every choice we make, every conversation we have, every action we take.
Wow, this deep dive has really given me a lot to think about. It's clear that self-taught AI is a total game changer. And it's really just the beginning when it comes to the future of AI.
Yeah, we're just getting started. Buckle up, stay curious, and keep thinking critically. The future of intelligence is unfolding right before our eyes. There are some really compelling examples out there. Like one that stands out is in the field of medical diagnosis. Researchers are using self-taught AI to look at medical images, like X-rays and scans, and it's showing crazy potential for finding these subtle things that might be missed by human doctors.
That's amazing. So, like, it could lead to earlier and more accurate diagnoses. That could be a game changer for healthcare.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are there other fields where self-taught AI is having a similar impact?
Definitely. In finance, for instance, they're using self-taught AI to build these super complex financial models.
Okay, so what do these models do?
Well, they can analyze huge amounts of data, identify trends, make predictions, all with a level of speed and accuracy that we couldn't even dream of before.
It sounds like we're on the edge of a major shift in how these industries operate. And it's all thanks to this self-taught AI. It's pretty exciting, but with all this talk about AI becoming more intelligent and independent, I can't help but think about the potential downsides.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, what about jobs? Are people going to be out of work because of this?
That's a valid concern, and it's something we need to be mindful of as AI continues to evolve. But throughout history, technological advancements have always led to shifts in the job market, creating new opportunities while making others obsolete.
So instead of fearing job losses, we should focus on adapting and acquiring new skills.
Exactly. The key is to be proactive and embrace the opportunities that AI presents. For instance, there will be a growing need for individuals who can understand and work alongside AI systems, people who can bridge the gap between human expertise and machine intelligence.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the potential for AI to become uncontrollable or even dangerous? I know it's a bit of a sci-fi trope, but it's a question that a lot of people have.
I understand. The idea of AI surpassing human intelligence and turning against us has been around for ages. But it's really important to separate those fictional scenarios from the reality of AI development today.
So we shouldn't be overly worried about the Terminator scenario just yet.
Exactly. The AI systems we're discussing today are still far from achieving anything resembling true consciousness or independent decision-making. They're powerful tools, but they're still tools. They operate within the parameters that we set.
That's reassuring to hear. But even if we're not talking about rogue AI taking over the world, there are still ethical considerations to address, right?
Absolutely.
Like, how do we ensure that AI is used responsibly and for the benefit of society as a whole?
Ethical considerations are paramount in AI development. They need to be woven into the very fabric of these systems from the outset. This involves addressing issues such as bias, transparency, and accountability.
Can you elaborate on that a bit? What specific steps can be taken to ensure that AI is developed and used ethically?
One crucial aspect is ensuring that AI systems are trained on diverse and representative data sets. This helps to minimize the risk of bias creeping into the algorithms and leading to discriminatory or unfair outcomes.
Right, because if an AI is only trained on data from a certain group of people, it might not be able to accurately or fairly assess individuals from other groups.
Exactly. Transparency is another vital factor. AI systems should be designed in a way that allows us to understand how they arrive at their decisions. This is important for building trust and ensuring accountability.
That makes sense. If we can understand the reasoning behind an AI's decision, we're more likely to trust it. But how do you achieve that level of transparency in such complex systems?
It involves developing techniques that allow us to trace the decision-making process of an AI, to see how it weighs different factors and arrives at its conclusions. It's an active area of research, explainable AI.
So it's not just about building powerful AI, it's about building AI that we can understand and trust. It sounds like that's a key part of Meta's approach with their self-taught AI. What else are they doing to address these ethical considerations?
One of the most commendable things Meta is doing is actively engaging with the wider AI community and the public on these issues. They're fostering open discussions, sharing their research findings, and seeking feedback on their approach to ethical AI development.
That's great to hear. It sounds like they're taking a very transparent and collaborative approach, which is essential for building trust and ensuring that AI development aligns with societal values.
Precisely. And they're also investing heavily in research on AI safety and robustness. This involves developing techniques to ensure that AI systems behave as intended, even in unexpected situations, and that they're resistant to manipulation or malicious attacks.
That makes sense. AI safety is paramount, especially as these systems become more integrated into our lives. But shifting gears a bit, let's circle back to this idea of advanced machine intelligence, or AMI. You mentioned earlier that it raises some profound questions about the future of humanity and technology. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, AMI represents a hypothetical point where AI surpasses human intelligence across a wide range of capabilities. It's a concept that has sparked both excitement and anxiety because it challenges our understanding of what it means to be intelligent, what our place in the world might be in a future where we're no longer the most intelligent beings.
It's like stepping into uncharted territory, with all the potential for both incredible advancements and unforeseen consequences.
Exactly. It's a topic that requires careful consideration, thoughtful dialogue, a willingness to grapple with complex ethical and philosophical questions. We need to approach AMI with a sense of both wonder and caution, recognizing its immense potential while also acknowledging the potential risks.
So it's not just about the technical advancements, it's about the broader societal and ethical implications of those advancements. It's about understanding how AI might impact our lives, our relationships, even our understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe.
Precisely. And it's about having those conversations now before AMI becomes a reality, so that we can shape its development in a way that aligns with our values and aspirations as a species.
I'm really starting to grasp the magnitude of what we're talking about here. Self-taught AI is not just a technological innovation. It's a catalyst for a much larger conversation about the future of intelligence, the role of technology in our lives, and what it means to be human in an age of increasingly sophisticated machines.
You've hit the nail on the head. And it's a conversation that needs to involve everyone, not just scientists and technologists. It's a conversation that needs to happen in our homes, our schools, our workplaces, our communities, and on a global scale.
So where do we go from here? What can we as individuals do to ensure that AI is developed and used in a way that benefits everyone?
Well, for starters, we can support organizations and initiatives that are working to promote responsible AI development. There are groups out there advocating for things like transparency, accountability, and fairness in AI systems.
Right, like making sure that AI algorithms are auditable and explainable so we can understand how they're making decisions, and pushing for regulations that prevent AI from being used in discriminatory or harmful ways.
Exactly. We also need to educate ourselves and others about the potential impacts of AI, both positive and negative. The more people understand this technology, the better equipped we'll be to shape its development and ensure that it's used for good.
And I think it's important to remember that we're not just talking about some distant future here. AI is already having a profound impact on our lives, from the way we work to the way we interact with each other.
It's in our smartphones, our social media feeds, our healthcare systems. It's everywhere. And as AI continues to evolve, that impact is only going to grow.
So it's not about waiting for some hypothetical future where AI becomes super intelligent. It's about engaging with this technology now, asking the tough questions and making our voices heard.
And it's about recognizing that we all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI. Whether you're a tech expert or just an average citizen, your thoughts, your concerns, and your actions matter.
It's empowering to think that we're not just passive bystanders in this technological revolution. We have the ability to shape the future of AI and ensure that it aligns with our values and aspirations.
Absolutely. The future of AI is not predetermined. It's a future that we are all actively shaping. With every choice we make, every conversation we have, and every action we take.
And it's a future that holds immense possibilities, both for good and for ill. The path we choose will determine whether AI becomes a force for progress and enlightenment, or a source of division and destruction.
It's pretty amazing, right? We started talking about AI that can teach itself, and now we're talking about the future of humanity.
It really shows how closely connected those two things are becoming.
Yeah, it really makes you think. It's a powerful reminder that technology, it's never really neutral. It reflects our values, our choices, what we prioritize. And as AI gets more powerful, as it becomes even more a part of our lives, those choices become even more important.
So where do we go from here? What can we do, even just as individuals, to make sure AI is used to benefit everyone?
There are a few things we can do. Supporting organizations that are pushing for responsible AI development is a great start. There are groups out there really fighting for things like transparency, accountability, fairness in these systems.
Right, like those algorithms, we should be able to audit them and understand them so we know how those decisions are being made. And pushing for regulations so AI isn't used in ways that are discriminatory or harmful.
Exactly. We also need to educate ourselves and others about what AI can do, the good and the bad. The more people understand this tech, the better we'll be at shaping it, making sure it's used for good.
And it's happening now, you know? It's not some far off thing. AI is already having a huge impact on how we work, how we connect with each other.
It's everywhere, our phones, our social media, healthcare systems, and as AI gets even more advanced, that impact's only going to get bigger.
So it's not about waiting for some future where AI is super intelligent. It's about getting involved right now, asking tough questions, making sure our voices are heard.
Yeah, and realizing that we all have a role to play in this. Whether you're a tech expert or just a regular person, your thoughts, your worries, what you do, it all matters.
Thinking about it that way, it's kind of empowering, isn't it? We're not just along for the ride. We can actually shape the future of AI and make sure it aligns with what we believe in.
Exactly. The future of AI isn't set. We're all creating it together. With every choice we make, every conversation we have, every action we take.
I'm thinking about that Arthur C. Clarke quote, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. AI feels kind of magical these days, the way it can learn, adapt, create.
But it's not magic, right? It's a product of what humans can do. And we have to make sure it serves us, not the other way around.
So, after this depth dive, I think the main thing I'm taking away is this. The future of AI isn't written yet. It's a future we're all creating together.
And that future, it's full of possibilities, both good and bad. What we choose to do will determine if AI helps us or hurts us.
The choice is ours, ultimately.
And it's a choice we have to make together. The future of AI, it's too important to just leave it to chance.
That's all for a deep dive today. Thanks for joining us as we explored self-taught AI. Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and remember, the future is in our hands.